So I'm going to show you someone, the one that's on your screen. Can you identify this individual? And then the screen is going to proceed to another individual and see if you can identify that individual. Okay, now we're going to go in reverse. This is reverse and slow motion. Who is that? Who is that? Keep looking. Now we're going to go back to the other image here in just a second or two. Can you identify that image? Can you identify that image? Okay, so let me go to my computer now. So how successful were you in this little identify that image game? The little guess who? Okay, the first image you saw was President Grover Cleveland here on the right. And the second image you saw was Geronimo. Now the meter comes up 36%, but that doesn't bother me. And I'll tell you why, because they use some prosthetics of some sort to enhance the face of Geronimo. But you can just see very easily and very simply that both these individuals are rather large. We might even say obese. And that should raise an interesting question. If you think about the American Indians, how would you have an obese American Indian? Doesn't make any sense, does it? To have an obese American Indian. Okay, Geronimo on the left with the headband on, and President Grover Cleveland on the right. 42%, a little better with the meter. But once again, I call your attention to body frame. And if you take a look at both of them, you'll see rather large, chunky faces. And usually the President Grover Cleveland always has a mustache on. %. Again, it doesn't bother me, because if you look on the Geronimo face right up here around on the cheeks, they filled that in with something. But if you look at the nose on Geronimo and the nose on Grover Cleveland, it's identical. Okay, so I'm going to go to a new tool that I discovered, and maybe you already know about it, but you can use it too, and it's called Overlay. Whoop. Where'd you go? There you go. Overlay. Okay, you're just looking right now at Grover Cleveland, basically. And I'm going to blend it into Geronimo. You have to kind of line up the eyes in order for this to work well. Okay, I'm doing it by hand. There are some programs that it's automated and makes it a little easier. But you're looking at Geronimo in his Western clothing. So once again, let's just take a look at the face, how puffy it is, how big it is, how huge Geronimo was. How do you have a huge Indian chief? Unless, of course, it's a fake. Geronimo is a fake. So now we'll go back to the blended image of Grover Cleveland. I'm trying to do this so that I can work the computer all right and you can see all right, so I apologize for the inconveniences. Okay, now that's the two images blended with Grover Cleveland and Geronimo. Back to Grover Cleveland. So Grover Cleveland was rather huge, a large head, a large skull, large body frame, and guess what Geronimo was? Rather huge. Large head, large body frame. Back to Geronimo. And let you see Geronimo. Huge head, skull, large cheekbones. Huge body frame. Now I believe what they did to sort of disguise Grover Cleveland, they added some prosthetics or something right here on the cheeks. These cheeks don't look natural. Okay? And isn't it interesting, Geronimo will dictate his biography while he's in prison. Geronimo will tour with Buffalo Bill. Come on! So I'm going to go back to the television set and try to let you see it, just watching it on this documentary thing. I picked up on it right away, and they do throw clues at you, and the clue that I picked up on certainly was the body frame, but also there's Grover Cleveland. Look at large body, large nose, and his cheeks could be puffy, but they're even more puffy when he takes on the character of Geronimo. This is at the very end of the documentary. Okay, now, just one other thing to kind of seal the deal, and that is I usually like to go to the dates of birth, dates of death. So we'll go down back to the computer. Okay, I'm just looking at the date of death for Grover Cleveland, 1908. Geronimo, date of death, 1909. So there you have it. Geronimo is, guess who? If you guess Grover Cleveland, you're right. You can just see it. It's very simple and very basic. It's what I call the split persona. The good guy plays the bad guy. Or the bad guy plays the good guy. And it's an actor. So there really was no individual by the name of Grover Cleveland. It was an actor. All presidents are fake and actors. There was no war chief by the name of Geronimo who loved to attack and kill and who was imprisoned. It was a figurehead. Now, this is not to deny the fact that the American Indians were driven off the land, no doubt. The American Indians were pushed away and thrown into reservations, no doubt. But they were not warlike. They were not bloodthirsty. They were not individuals that couldn't wait to go out and kill the white settlers. That was all a lie. Why? Because of expansion. The demon called manifest destiny. There's a demon called manifest destiny, an evil spirit. And anytime you see a painting of manifest destiny, you'll see the painting as like an evil spirit hovering across the land. That somehow the Westerners could just march right in and kick all the American Indians out of the good land and throw them into reservations. Friends, you've been hoaxed. I've been hoaxed. Don't believe it. Now, if you were brought up like me, you were brought up watching cowboys and Indian movies. In movies where the settlers out west are brutally attacked by Indians. Well, you know what? You were lied to. Why? Because the greedy people wanted the land and the resources. And they had to have a story to get the Indians off the land, to put them into terrible places that did not have the wealth of the land. That's why you can see Grover Cleveland plays Geronimo. And we're told in hoax history that Grover Cleveland wanted to execute Geronimo. But instead, he spared Geronimo's life of imprisonment. And then to go out and tour with Buffalo Bill and to write a biography. It was all baloney. It was meant to fool the public and abuse the American Indians, who were not brutal, warlike, bloodthirsty. Do you all realize something? It's not within human nature to want to kill. It's not within human nature to want to kill. Maybe it's within human nature to get angry. Maybe it's within human nature to do a little bit of harm to somebody, but not to kill. Don't you believe the lies of hoax history? So here's evidence and proof. President Grover Cleveland played Geronimo. Thank you for watching. End of video.